Good morning. It's April 8th. It's the day my Kickstarter ends. So I can quit talking about it. Well, no, I can't because I got lots of work to do after that. I only have a vague idea of where I'm walking today, so we'll see how this develops. I'll go up to College Avenue to start with here. So yes, the Kickstarter ends at 11 o'clock my time, so that's, 2.5 hours from now. It's funded 110%. As of this morning, $16,572 Canadian, which is great. I didn't get to where I could afford to pay the author some extra money, but I got a little extra money to help with the expenses because I kind of under budgeted on this one, I think, to make sure I funded. So it's great to be a little bit over that. And the Kickstarter, if you're just joining me, is I'm kickstarting an anthology featuring authors who were guests during the second year of my Aurora award-winning podcast, The World Shapers, in which I interview other science fiction and fantasy authors about the creative process. In fact, I'm interviewing somebody just as the Kickstarter ends at 11 o'clock. I'll be interviewing an author who, and I won't say the name because I haven't asked her how to pronounce her last name yet. So, but she's a cyberpunk author, and one of the few women expressly writing cyberpunk. So looking forward to that. That won't air for 6 weeks or something like that, because I have, a month I guess, because I have some in hand. So anyway, so yeah, the Kickstarter is a go. The anthology is a go. There'll be a couple of weeks after the funding campaign closes today before Kickstarter finalizes everything and sends me money. And I'll be in touch with the authors and talking about when I need the stories, and I have some stories in hand, and there's all the editing, and then deciding what order everything goes in, and laying it out, and finalizing the print cover. There's a lot that goes into it. And all of the money raised by the Kickstarter goes to the production. I don't actually make any money myself until the book goes on sale commercially in the fall, most likely. So it sounds like, you raised all that money, yeah, and that's what it needs to make the book. Now, if you really, really overfund, the woman who told me about Kickstarters, didn't tell me about Kickstarters, but made the presentation at the Saskabooks annual meeting that inspired the Kickstarter, had raised like $100,000 for an anthology. Didn't even have any stretch goals. All the extra money just went into her publishing business, which would be nice if I'd raised $100,000. That's actually what I would have done. But I didn't. But I did raise enough for this anthology. And that means a year from now, I'll probably be doing it again for my third year guests. And we'll see how that goes. Don't know how long the podcast will continue, but certainly I will continue for a complete third year here. I might reassess come this fall whether I keep doing it or not. It is a lot of work, and I've talked to a lot of great authors. Anyway, I expect to keep doing it, but you never know. It's about 6 degrees this morning. A little cool when I came out because I'm only wearing my sweater, but I know as I keep walking, I'll be plenty warm. I think I'm just going to go down College this time to Elphinstone. This is College Avenue. If you happen to be watching this and catch it live on Facebook or YouTube, leave a comment. I'll know you're there. It's always these nice alleys. I should do a walk just through alleys sometimes. As I've mentioned before, there's a Regina artist named Will Perot that sort of has made a career out of painting alleys, although he does get rid of the blue recycle bins and the plastic garbage bins. There used to be metal garbage bins. He always took those out too. His alleys usually have the old style trash cans, sort of the aluminum corrugated trash cans. It's the street I used to live on, down there, when I first moved to this neighborhood. Long time ago now. So yeah, I have an interview today, and then I was quite productive on the Tangled Stars yesterday. My characters have successfully retrieved the starship that was mothballed at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. It did not go as smoothly as they had hoped. As you can tell that the first line I wrote yesterday talked about bullet holes in the door, kind of give you an idea of where that scene went. So now I'm getting everybody back into space, and there'll be a space chase, and then they'll get to the interstellar part of the adventure. I don't know how long the book's going to be exactly, but I'm at 65,000 words or something, and I expect that to be about half. So it has been moving slowly, but it's moving more quickly now. And with the Kickstarter ending, I won't have that distraction. It's amazing how much time it takes to keep telling people over and over about your Kickstarter till they're sick of it. The alleys go downhill from here. You don't really realize how much of a slope until you see it like that. Apparently, once upon a time, there was a rail line on the north side of College. A long time ago. There was supposed to be a huge hotel back on the corner of College and Albert, where the Royal Saskatchewan Museum is now. But although they started building it, didn't get much further than some structural steel, and then it project failed. This would have been back about, 1915 or earlier. There's a house down close to the river that is built with some of the building materials that were left over when that project was abandoned. It's in my book, Historic Walks of Regina and Moose Jaw, for which I always have to say the bulk of that material was already pulled together by Heritage Regina for their walking tours, because I followed their walking tours. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. Added a few things that I thought should be on it, and dug up some additional information, and ended up with a book. Moose Jaw didn't have that much in the way of preset walking tours, but I found some stuff and did some more research, and I think came up with a pretty good walking tour there. So here we are at the park. I normally come the other way and cross here, but this time I came this way. It's a bit cool in the breeze, but I don't mind. Nobody has found me yet live this morning, I don't think. Earlier than yesterday. Now back down to the creek. Then I'm sort of going to zigzag over towards Pasqua and zigzag back, and that should be a nice walk. Maybe tomorrow I'll do my walk around the lake. I think about once a week I'll be walking around the lake, which will be, if you check those out, you'll be able to watch the changing seasons. There is, I said 2 days ago that I'd seen something that said there was going to be a snowstorm, and then I couldn't find that. It's like it disappeared. Well, it's not exactly a snowstorm, but there is snow showers in the forecast for this weekend. I don't think they'll stick at this point to any significant degree. Didn't look like a heavy enough snow for that. I could walk down there sometime along the dirt path on this side. Change of pace. Ah, but look here. The ice is gone. The ice is gone. Might still be something clinging somewhere, but I think it's the first time I've come along when it's completely ice-free. Oh, there's a squirrel right there. Do you see him? Yesterday it was geese. In fact, the thumbnail that YouTube picked, one of them was for geese. I left that one. I often replace the thumbnails with something more photogenic. Yeah, there's still ice on the other side. You probably can't see it over there, but there's a little bit of ice still floating over there. But on this side, at least for as far as I can see from the bridge, it's wide open water. I think it was 20 degrees yesterday, so you have to be pretty stubborn ice to hang on at 20 degrees. Just shows you how thick the ice actually is after the winter's over. How long it lingers. Ow, something just stabbed me in my shoe. All right, we'll zigzag over this way now. As usual, most of the people I see this time of morning have dogs with them, or they're just jogging. I'm walking with a camera. Oof. There's a jogger. Apparently nobody has found me yet, but if you're on YouTube or Facebook, let me know. I had quite a few questions yesterday from people who were following me. Not really following me, walking with me. Okay, I always talk about songs that pop into my head. And I just realized the one that's running in my head this morning is Rainbow Connection from the original Muppet movie. We've been watching The Muppets, The Muppet Show on Disney Plus. And I said before, it's great to see all those entertainers that were current when I was a kid. Most of them are either really old or dead now. It's nice to see them again as I remember them. People like Valerie Harper, and Michael Caine, Rita Moreno, Jim Nabors. But we were watching that, and my daughter, who's just about to turn 20 in a couple of months, has never seen the original Muppet Show. I mean, the original Muppet movie with the Rainbow Connection in it. And so I think that's next on our agenda. I remember seeing it when I was at university. That's how long ago that was. And how, Kermit riding a bicycle and all of that. I think I probably saw it on campus. We had a big auditorium and they would show movies there, although being a Christian school, some of the movies were censored and some they just wouldn't show at all. Seems very old-fashioned now, but that's the way it was in 1978, 79. I graduated in December of 79, Harding University in Searcy, Arkansas. This will take us by Sheldon Williams Collegiate again, which I mentioned over there. Very quiet down here. Hear a train. Traffic noise from over on Regina Avenue and the Louvain, I guess. But very quiet back in here. Anyway, it's still running in my head. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it. The rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. I'll wait for that bus that's coming instead of stepping in front of him. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered? Wish on a morning star. Somebody thought of that. Someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. There's Sheldon Williams. It's somewhere that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it. The rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. I might as well finish it now. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is it the sweet sound that calls the young sailor? I guess a proper zigzag takes me this way. The voice might be one and the same. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da 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 dee da da. La la dee da do 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 whoa. Or words to that effect. I think I was pretty close to the actual lyrics. Why do I know them? I don't know. I just do. I think I had the soundtrack, actually. I think I've sung or heard sung Rainbow Connection as like a choir piece. Maybe not me. Maybe it was something my daughter sang in. Anyway, there you go. Rainbow Connection. We'll see if I get a copyright hit for that. They do a scan to look for copyright issues. And songs can do it. And if you get hit, you can't monetize it. Well, these things get about 15 or 16 views. Monetization was not exactly on the table. Nobody's even watching it live apparently today, so if you're watching it, you're probably watching the repeat. Not the repeat, but the I don't even know. The way the road's twisting here, zigzagging may put me coming out somewhere I wasn't expecting. Okay, here's Regina Avenue. Okay, now I know where we are. Oh, wait a minute. Is that Regina? No, it's not Regina Avenue. It's Mascana. All right, so if I go that way, I end up back at the park, which is not where I want to end up. So we're going this way. That's probably all the singing. Something else springs to mind. But now that I've sung that song, it's really stuck in my head. As I said, I think the songs stick in my head because they help me keep a steady pace when I'm walking. But once I've got them in my head, I sing them at the same tempo, and that keeps my legs moving at that tempo. Anybody out there today? Drop me a note so I know you're watching. If you're watching live, that is. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment, I guess. You don't have to drop me a live note because I won't see it while I'm walking. When I get back, I'll check the Kickstarter again. I don't expect it to go up much more than it has. It might still get over 16,600. It's interesting because last time I did the Kickstarter, the goal was 13.5 and it went to 15.7. And this time I went over 15.7 by quite a bit now, at 16 going on 6. And yet there's 100 fewer backers at the moment. I had 366 backers last time, I think. And this time I'm only at 266 last time I looked. So that's interesting. Means the average pledge was certainly higher. All right, here's Pasqua. I knew I'd get to that eventually. So we're going to go down here, and then I'll decide when I get to the intersection with Regina Avenue what I decide to do from there. Could go over on that side. Never walked over there. That might be interesting. Maybe I'll do that instead of my original thought, or will I? How long have I been walking? Like 20 some minutes or 30 some minutes? 22 minutes. Let's go this way then, my original plan. Do that some other time. Because I'm pretty close to this intersection, which is what I figured I'd be when I finally came out on Pasqua. We're going to go over this intersection and then take a different route back towards Elphinstone. And then it'll be familiar territory as I cross the footbridge and go home, I think. And the coolness now is just about right for walking. That's the seniors facility over there. And of course, as I pointed out before, Regina International Airport is just down there, a short distance, across that next busy street. You could walk from here, walk from home to the airport. I suppose I could walk out there sometime. It's not exactly pedestrian friendly though. Well, let's see. There is a walkway because of parking lots and stuff. Might be worth it. Assuming it's not, illegal to have a live camera in front of the airport. I don't know. This is Pasqua. Another long, straight road. I won't go too far south on it before I start heading back west. And over there, you see the cars moving, is the Louvain Expressway. I think it's still called an expressway, which much busier, faster. Speed limit is 80 kilometers on it, and most people drive faster than that. Our normal street speed limit is 40 kilometers an hour, or about 25 if you're in miles per hour. baseball diamonds over there too. Oh, you can see the airport now. Over there, that's the airport, Regina International Airport. Not a single live comment today after getting so many yesterday. Must be the time. Or people are getting bored. I can totally understand that. I mean, I'm trying to be interesting. There's the airport again. And they're working on this line. But that's our real landscape. Somebody just said there's a lot of trees. Well, every tree in Regina was planted by somebody. The real landscape is that flat horizon line with no trees on it that you see out that way. Now, of course, originally the prairie was covered in thick grass. About the only place you see that now is Grasslands National Park, which is a fairly untouched region down in the south, more towards the southwest. So anything you see here has been cultivated and is probably growing wheat, but it's still flat and it's still treeless. Okay, here's a street that will take us back the other way. Go past this church, which I don't know which church this is. What if Jesus was serious? Meeting virtually. Find us on Facebook and YouTube. Grace Mennonite Church. Pretty sure he was serious. Never got the sense he was joking. One last look at the prairie over there. The real Saskatchewan prairie. The side of the ball diamonds. Then we will turn back this way. Oh, this is a named park on this corner too. Kings Road Park. Here's the park. We've got trees and grass and grass and trees and trees and grass and grass and trees. Arrogant Worms reference, as I've mentioned before. They have a song about Northern Ontario called "We've got rocks and trees and trees and rocks, and 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 water in Canada, 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 in Canada, 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 Canada." That's basically the song. There must be some more words. I can't remember what they are. We'll follow this. Not exactly sure where we'll come out. I have a vague idea. I mean, eventually we get to Elphinstone. Oh, car coming. I'll just step in front of them. Is nobody watching live today? Well, people busy with their own lives. What's with that? Get your priorities straight. Could be watching me walk. You could be pretending to work and watching me walk. Oh, wait, somebody's there, but oh, it's Miriam. Hi, Miriam. Woof, woof, woof. Having trouble reading it because the sun's in my eyes. Busy with an assignment in entomology. Well, if I see any bugs, or is that entomology? No, I'm sure entomology. Entomology is the insects, right? Saw a squirrel earlier. Okay, big park over here. came out, so when I zigzagged one other time, I came out about here, I think. I was trying to decide if that was the park or the par 3 golf course over there. I think it must be the par 3 golf course. I don't know if that's still active or not, but there was a par 3 golf course around here. Oh, and there's a tennis court tucked away in there too. Not active at the moment. I mean, I guess the court is active, but nobody's on it. Yeah, Lakeview Golf Center. Could walk in there, but I think that would make this go too long. So we're now going to head back more towards home. Entomology has to do with the study of words, I believe. Entomology is the study of insects. Most interesting insects I ever knew when we lived in Texas. We were one of the places where you get the 17-year cicadas, which spend most of that very long lifespan for an insect underground. And then they emerge, sprout wings, mate, and die in a pretty short time. And when they come out of the ground, they crawl up the trees and leave their husks behind. I still have somewhere in a pillbox some cicada husks that I gathered when I was a kid in Texas. We also had this really nasty looking hornet, scariest hornet you ever saw. Well, scariest hornet I ever saw. But they didn't bother people. They existed to eat cicadas, as far as we can tell. So the cicadas come out, and sometimes you would find a cicada corpse that had been, well, decapitated and sucked of all its juicy internal bits. So that's always made an, well, you know, I was like 7 or 8. That sort of thing makes an impression on a little boy. I thought they were cool and kind of scary. I don't know if we got I've walked down this bit of street before. I mean, they're 17 years. They seem like we had them every year. So there's obviously a different swarm every year. And then the noise they make, they're really noisy in the trees. It's a sound I associate with that part of the world. Here we get crickets for nighttime bug sounds. I think there's lightning bugs in Saskatchewan, but I don't know if I've ever seen them here. That's my other memory of being in the Missouri or visiting relatives down there, trying to catch lightning bugs in a jar out in the field at night or in the yard. That was cool. Another cool insect. And then there were June bugs, which are just kind of annoying. They tend to swarm your porch lights. I don't know why they're called June bugs. I presume they come out in June. Oh, and of course here in Saskatchewan, we're really good with mosquitoes. We got those, but not what I would call an interesting insect. That's the one you kill on sight. They do treat standing bodies of water sometimes to try to keep them from hatching. At least they don't carry malaria or anything, but they do carry, well, they can carry Western equine encephalitis and popularly known as sleeping sickness, and it's escaping me, West Nile virus. I have known somebody who had West Nile virus. So, anyway, my bug stories. I hope they didn't bug you. I have to amuse myself. Nobody here to laugh at my jokes. I should put a laugh track on it. We're watching MASH, and it's always a little odd, even because they have some very serious parts in MASH, right? Set in the Korean War. But they still, at least in the early seasons, I don't know if they carried it through to the end or not. They have a laugh track, so something I grew up with. Seemed like all shows had laugh tracks that were comedies. They're think about it, they're a bit manipulative. Oh, I am going way I've gone before, because One doesn't forget to this house, which is a little on the grand side. Look at that entrance. Looks like it's under construction. Maybe it's an apartment building and not a single, no, I say it's a single unit, single family dwelling. Their porch is clearly not done. They're still working. But it's quite the house. There it is from this side. The entrance is really the interesting bit. The rest of it's not all that interesting. It does have a pretty spectacular deck, upper deck here, balcony and so forth. So, quite the house. I don't know. I guess I'll just keep up with my zigzag. Even though I think I'm now repeating part of a path I did before, but who remembers that? Only me. Hear the birds again? If I'm quiet, it's like talking over the birds to tell you to hear the birds. House being built over there. You can hear the hammers. Oh, and there's a front end loader doing something in the front too. This is Montague, so this is where I have to decide how I'm going to walk back, and I think I'll just go up Montague straight. Well, I can't go entirely straight because there's a church. Unless I'm turned around still. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm actually further along here than I thought I was. Anyway, we'll go this way. I'm not where I thought I was, but I'm somewhere. Can't really get lost. I know east is over there where the sun is shining on me. Zigzagging is fun, but you can get turned around because the roads curve. And so if you just keep following your pattern, you can end up going in quite the different direction than if they were a grid pattern all the way. Yeah, I didn't get as far down as I thought I would. I think is what that is. I didn't get to Hill Avenue. Another one, modern house in among the sort of the original little houses. That one's for sale if you're looking for a house in Regina. Quite a contrast. Like the original houses, some of them are just these little boxes, which were, as I understand it, mostly built right after the First World War when there was a housing shortage, so they needed a quick housing solution. Yeah, I am where I thought I was. I just didn't get as far south as I thought I might, following the pattern I was following. It's not as far to Pasqua from here as it feels like. We'll walk down this side though. I've walked down that side before. There's the park with the outdoor skating rink. Nobody's skating in it now. It was 20 degrees yesterday. And Lakeview United Church over there, where we often rehearse shows that I'm in the basement. They have a gym that is rented out quite a bit for things like, baton twirlers. I've seen them in there, and I don't know what else. Although we usually rehearse in the basement where there's a daycare. It has a kind of a good-sized fellowship room down there where we can go and practice our music when we can do that. The show that's coming up, and you can get tickets at reginalyric.com. It's called Flip the Script. There's another one of these little tiny box-like houses, some more along here, which were post First World War, I believe, for the most part. And then over in the corner over there is an ultra modern one. So it's an interesting mixture. I like the mixture. If they all look like that, it'd be a very different neighborhood. And they all look like that, well, that's a little boring too. So having the mixture with that next to that is kind of interesting. Another little tiny one. They're really small over on this side. Contrast to that. So Flip the Script is gender-swapped Broadway songs. So men singing women's songs and women singing men's songs. I'm doing a quartet all by myself in front of a green screen, so it'll look like there's 4 of me. That'll be fun. And I'm doing a duet with my wife, and then our daughter, who's got a huge amount of experience in musical theater and performing, will be singing a song as well. So, reginalyric.com. And since it's virtual, you can watch it from anywhere in the world. I think. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. Really little tiny ones along here. Kind of nice yards and big mature trees in front of them. But, you know, if they were built post First World War to a large extent, lots of time for the trees to grow up. Well, I guess we'll go back down by Waterfall Park again and home from there. Oh, I missed notes here. How far is it from Saskatchewan to Victoria? About 2,000 miles. Thunder Bay, probably about the same in the other direction. Maybe not 2,000 miles, but it's something on that order of magnitude. I guess Thunder Bay would be a little closer because it's on the western end of Ontario. But it would certainly be a solid 2-day drive from here, I would think. Possibly not 2 long days, like a day and a half. I'm trying to picture the map. But Victoria, we're a long way from the west coast. It's a 7-hour drive to Calgary from here, and another hour to the mountains. Then you get into British Columbia. Then you have to get all the way across British Columbia. And then, of course, you have to take a ferry to get to Victoria, if you're staying on land. I mean, you could fly there, obviously. Been to Victoria a couple of times, so it's a beautiful city. Especially a few years ago, my wife was president of what a strange sound. It's like a foghorn inside the light standard there. My wife was president of the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Saskatchewan. And to do that, she had to fly, and she wasn't much of a flyer, so to warm her up for all the flying she was going to have to do, because as president you travel to many of the cities across Canada when the other engineering associations have their annual meetings. And I got to go with her on a lot of them, which was cool. Like we went to Yellowknife and Charlottetown, places like that. We took a test flight to Victoria She'd bought a airline pass at a silent auction, and we got out there just about this time of year, actually, right at the height of the cherry blossoms. So that was really nice. I'll go this way, and we'll go over the little footbridge. Then I'll take the path over to a bit out of the way, but that's more interesting. Oh, there's no actual path here, though. I thought there was. Well, oh yes, there is. I just couldn't see it because there's still ice down in here. So I had a great time in Victoria. And in my book, which one is it? Where do they end up? Which one do they end up in Victoria? Cave Beneath the Sea, I guess. That's book 4 in my Shards of Excalibur young adult fantasy series. The characters do end up in Victoria, and I was able to use some of my memories and pictures of that. They also end up at Horseshoe Bay, which is by West Vancouver, and it's the ferry terminal to Nanaimo, actually. BC Ferries, and my brother lived in West Vancouver. Just follow the path around here, about 3 kilometers from Horseshoe Bay. So that was a place I was very familiar with, and it was fun to put that into the story as well. Shards of Excalibur has its own website, shardsofexcalibur.com, and the publisher, Kato Books, unfortunately went bankrupt. So the rights came back to me. I have a bunch of print copies from the Kato Books. Here's the view of the whole park again and the little footbridge we just came across. But I put out brand new ebook editions, so anyone watching this who might be interested, if you go to shadowpawpress.com, you can get the ebooks of Shards of Excalibur and all of the books, all of the ebooks that are available through Shadowpaw Press, except for the anthology, are available for just $3.99 Canadian. This has been a paid advertisement from Shadowpaw Press. But I am Shadowpaw Press, so I guess I'm paying myself. I hope I don't have to put on YouTube that there's a paid advertisement in here now. I don't know if their algorithms will say, hey, he said paid advertisement or advertisement. I pronounce it both ways. We have to ding him for that. So you can see the footbridge over there. Still ice on the river here. And that poor goalie net, hockey net, is still stuck in the ice down there. Soon to be on the bottom of the river. On the other side of Elphinstone, it was wide open. No ice in sight from the bridge. So that's interesting how much it's still clinging on here. More shaded, I guess. Higher bank on this side might have something to do with it. But again, it was 20 degrees. It's been above freezing for days now during the day, and the ice is still hanging in there. It just shows you how thick it was at one time when you could have safely walked across it and driven on it. I don't know if I drive on the creek, but ice fishers drive out on lakes all the time to drill their holes and go ice fishing. I did it once when I was covering stuff in Weyburn at the Review, getting pictures of ice fishers. So I drove my car out on the lake, which I'd never done before, and I don't think I've done it since. But that was such a shallow lake, Nickel Lake, which is really a reservoir. I'm pretty sure it was frozen solid to the bottom. Maybe not. When they freeze solid, of course, they have no fish in them. They have to be restocked. Wascana Lake that I've walked around, and we'll probably do that tomorrow again, was deepened a few years ago. They completely drained it. It was very weird to see this huge dirt bowl with heavy machinery rolling around in it. Oh. Hi. Hello. But one of the reasons was they made part of it deep enough so that it doesn't freeze over the winter, so fish can overwinter in it. Yeah, still ice on this side, but a lot of open water on the sunnier side of the creek. We'll follow the dike now. Almost home. What's this? How can I have access to the books? You just go to shadowpawpress.com. shadowpress.com, and you can buy and download them directly from there, along with any other books that Shadowpaw Press has the rights to. My other books, if you look up Edward Willett on Amazon, you'll find a lot. EWARDWILLETT. Also E.C. Blake and Lee Arthur Chain, two of my pseudonyms. I've written books. And my main website, edwardwillett.com, has links to everything too. So I'm readily findable on the web. The YouTube channel has picked up 50, well, no, it hasn't picked up 50 some subscribers. It's up to 56 subscribers, I think, since I started doing the walks. So, woohoo. It was at 42 though, so it's gone up, a dozen people or so, at least now following it. And I won't just be doing the walks. Once there's other things happening, like music or writing or book-related stuff, that goes there too. You can find examples of me singing on this channel as well. A few. Those ones usually get hit with a copyright notice. Not everything. But I'm not trying to monetize them. I just want people to watch them if they're so interested. All right, here's our staircase down to Metallic Street and 3 blocks home. I also have a shop, another online shop, edwardwillettshop.com, which has some of the same stuff as Shadowpaw Press, but that's where you can buy autographed copies of some of my books published by my main New York publisher from there, if I have them in stock. I'm a little short of the World Shapers books right now. I need to order some more, I think, because some people backed the Kickstarter with that level where I have to send them copies of those books. So I better make sure I have copies of those books. Like everything else, COVID kind of messed all that up. I didn't even get my author's copies of the paperback of Master of the World. I need to follow up on that. Oh, look at this. Definitely some movement on the budding out front there. That's budding out for sure. It really is spring. That's a change just since the last time I walked down the street here. Much more noticeable. It's probably yesterday's really warm temperatures. How long have I walked here? 53, yeah, it's going to be just about the right length. Right around an hour. Like I said, I don't really plan anything like that. I just kind of get a general idea of where I'm going to walk, and it usually works out within a few minutes of an hour. I guess I have a pretty good sense of distances in our neighborhood after living here so long. And the other possibility is, well, maybe when it's nicer though, for sure. After it's green and stuff, I'll go out and walk around the University of Regina campus. Could do that on foot from here, but it'd be a long walk. It'd probably be a 2-hour walk, or at least an hour and a half if I did that. But I might do it from here. More likely I'll go park at the Center of the Arts and get on the bike path. The bike path goes under Broad Street, and it's been flooded the last few times I've looked. And I don't imagine it's opened up yet or not, so you can't take the bike path under the bridge. You have to cross the street. I don't know, maybe I'll do it on foot if I'm feeling really energetic and wanted to get out of the house, see how long it would take me. I think it would be at least an hour and a half out and around the university and back. I started from here. Here comes our familiar stop sign. I like to stop because I'm very literal minded that way. So at least I know Miriam was watching me live. That's nice. If anybody else is watching me live, thanks for coming along. And if you're watching the recording later, thanks for checking it out. I've managed to make this daily now for, 3 weeks or something. So I don't think I'll be stopping it anytime soon. Well, I will, because I'm going to stop it right now. Thanks for coming with me. Bye for now.